Lesson 19. The new word for this lesson is sunt, which means they are. If you're using ecclesiastical pronunciation, you might want to make the U in sunt sound like a long U. You might pronounce it like sunt. Either way, it still means they are. And so sunt is like the plural version of est. The word est can mean he is, or it can just mean is. And in the same way, sunt can mean they are, or if there's another word to be the subject, it can just mean are. So think about all the things that you think about when you see the word est. You start to consider how to translate it. We're going to go through that same process when we translate the word sunt. We're going to consider whether or not we need the word they. So let's take a look at this first example sentence, Agricolai sunt poetae. And just like with est, we can try to translate sunt both ways. We can try to translate it as they are, and then we can try to translate it as are, and by doing so, we can sort of figure out which one is the proper translation. So let's try that now with this first example sentence. Agricolai sunt poetae. Let's try translating sunt as they are. Agricolai means farmers, and poetae means poets. So let's translate it as the farmers, they are poets. So by translating sunt as they are, it's become apparent that we don't need the word they. So we can just leave out the word they, and we can translate the sentence as the farmers are poets. So in that sentence, we realized that we did not need the word they. What about the next example sentence? The next example sentence is just poetae sunt. So if we translate sunt as they are, we might get something like they are poets. And that sounds pretty good. What if we tried it the other way? What if we translated sunt just as are? Then we would end up with something like the poets are. And that doesn't really make any sense. So in this sentence, there's no other word to be the subject. So we do need to use the word they that's included in the word sunt. So in this particular example, we'll translate sunt as they are, and the sentence will read, they are poets. And then at the bottom, I reiterate that sunt is similar to est, and we simply try both meanings, and that helps us to figure out what the correct translation is. Okay, let's take a look at our exercises. Exercise 1 is, they are poets. In this sentence, there is no other word to be the subject, so we do indeed need to use the word they that's included in sunt. So the subject is they, and the predicate is poets. And notice how they and poets are both plural, so they agree with one another. Number 2, the poets are farmers. In this sentence, poets is the subject, so we don't need to use the word they that's included in sunt. But if by chance number 2 confused you, you could try to translate sunt both ways. You could say, the poets, they are farmers. And after doing so, you might think to yourself, oh, I don't need to use the word they. So by translating sunt both ways, that helps us to figure out what the correct translation is. Number 3 is similar to number 1 in that there is no other word to be the subject. So we do need to use the word they that's included in sunt. Number 4, the poets are sailors. Poets is the subject, so we do not need the word they. Number 5, he is a poet. We need to translate est as he is because there's no other word to be the subject of the sentence. Number 6, y'all are poets. Remember that estis means you are in the plural when talking to more than one person. Number 7, the sailors are not farmers. Number 8, the farmer is a poet. Number 9, we are sailors. Number 10, you are not a poet. And in number 10, notice how the word s means you are when just talking to one person only.